Community Live, Spirit and Coffee. Got my coffee here. Mm-hmm. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, let's get started. So I don't have my book today because I'm not going to be reading my book today because I just want to change things up a bit. Good morning, Zion. So wanted to kind of just see if you guys had questions for me. Um, Typically haven't done a podcast like this, but wanted to see if we can engage in a conversation in questions that you might have, especially for those of you who've been following me for a very long time, and continue to get on my Facebook Live or this even Podbean, which has been running for maybe a month now, maybe a little over a month. But for you guys to ask questions and engage. And the reason why is because I've given so much information. I'm almost going to say about 3 years of information I've been given, and sort of wondering what it is that you guys might be in question of or seeking understanding or clarity about. Typically within your life or with what you're up to, or what's going on. I can always talk about situations in my life because my life is always happening just like yours is, and there's always things I can share, of course. But I would love to hear from you guys to sort of get an idea of what it is that you guys need support with, in order to move your life forward. So I would highly encourage you can type out your questions on Podbean. I will read them, and we can try to engage that way. And perhaps eventually we'll do a call in system, which I think would be awesome. A couple of things that I know that I'm doing to move it forward is I'm going to do a crowdfund campaign for Spirit and Coffee, for support, which I'm needing to get the curriculum up and running on the website. And so for those who support with that, will get access to have that access to that curriculum once it is complete. And the curriculum itself is designed to help you guys to start to live into being a practitioner of what I call the great work, or the spiritual alchemy, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, you being able to live your best life and what that looks like for you. Good morning, Will. So please send in your questions. We could do it live this morning. And also, if you want to email me, it's spiritandbrew@gmail.com. You can actually email me there and I will look at the questions that you guys have and answer them. So spiritandbrew@gmail.com is the email. Once my website is up and running, and I have the platform for an email, it will be spiritandcoffee at whatever.com. Okay. But right now it's Spirit and Brew because Gmail, someone stole my email like I owned it. So please, please, please do that. So much. I'm working on so much with the company, getting it up and going. And so, good morning, Tomo. So I really appreciate you guys joining along for the journey. So please send me your questions, okay? That would be super important. Any questions you have that I can speak into or support you through. I like when people engage. I like when people are sort of speaking into what's going on or the situations in their life and helping them find clarity so that they understand how to move forward. That's part of coaching, and part of supporting people in living their divine birthright. There has to be some understanding of how do I move forward. It's not about just talking about it and then being stuck, right? It's like, how do I take this information and make it useful for my life? And you're going to hear me say that a trillion gazillion times on here, always saying that. Why? Because it matters. Well, matters to me. I want to see you succeed, but it also is going to matter if you truly are wanting to create something magical in your life. It takes the commitment, the dedication, the motivation, the inspire everything about you, determination in order to drive your goals forward, to drive your divine birthright forward, to drive what your greatest passion and legacy is going to be, takes your internal drive, not mine. Teaching people how to do that is what's important. How do we teach people? How do I teach people? How do I show you guys? Well, of course, I have a system, a process to support you. Good morning to those who are on Facebook Live. I can't see who's on here, so please say good morning. Good morning. Oh, I see Rachel. Good morning, Rachel. How are you? Submit questions to me would be great. Okay. So I don't, like I said again, I'm not reading from the book today. We did, I could talk a little bit or go over a little bit what we have discussed in the past on the book, which is be impeccable with your word, and then don't take anything personal was the second agreement that we were going into. And don't take anything personal is a pretty hard one because of the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word, which means we take things personal because internally our dialogue is telling us that we are these things. That if someone says you're this, that we are telling ourselves, yeah, we're that. Or we wouldn't get upset, right? Like I gave the example of if you're a purple, someone says you're a purple unicorn, you're gonna be like, what? That's stuff. But if someone calls you an a-hole, well, you might get a little upset, especially if you are a little bit of an a-hole, or if you have judgments about that. Be impeccable with your word and sharing with my faculty. That is so awesome, Will. Good morning, Doreen. How are you? That is amazing. Thanks, Will, for sharing that with your faculty. Maybe I could do a Zoom call with you and your faculty one day or something. I don't know. Just throwing stuff out there to see, what's possible. We don't know what's possible, right? Until we communicate and support each other in trying to figure that out. So again, the expansion of Spirit and Coffee is about to take off in a different direction. And I said this can't stay the same forever. And that is the problem that we have as humans, is that we want things to always be the same way. Always. And things change and it's uncomfortable. And why is it uncomfortable? Because we're comfortable when things aren't changing. We get into a routine. We get into a system where we're like every day it's the same thing, but we're not growing beyond, right? The means of that. We're not going beyond the I don't want to say the box, but we're not going beyond what we think we can go beyond, basically. Okay. We have the ability to go beyond, but it takes stepping, good morning, Janice, into being uncomfortable. And uncomfortable for people isn't comfortable. That's kind of funny. Being uncomfortable isn't comfortable. Absolutely not. Good morning, whoever's on here on Facebook. Yeah, it's snowing here in our beautiful city state. I don't know if it's the whole state. I do know that it snowed, but I think it's good enough to drive today, so that's good. To get to work. Okay. So yes, being impeccable with your word, not taking anything personal. Once we get clear with our own mental space, we won't take as much personal, right? We won't take things as personal because in our mind we'll know who we are. So knowing who you are is a little bit deeper in being impeccable with your word. If you know who you are and you understand who you are, then what? Then you are able to engage life from a place of personal power and personal responsibility without being 100% triggered by the external world and what it's telling you and the feedback that you get sometimes that's uncomfortable because sometimes it's not comfortable what we get back, right? The feedback is not comfortable. But to change your life, to completely reinvent your life, you've got to be willing to have the courage to shift into something different. It takes courage. Courage is fire energy. Courage means that sometimes we let go of the things that are not supporting us. Okay. And baby steps. Doesn't all have to be at once. Like I've said before. Good morning. Who's on Facebook? Who else is on Facebook? Can you guys say good morning, please? Who else is on Podbean? Say good morning, please. I know Janice is on here. Veggie, Veggie. I don't know. V. I don't know what it is. Oh, and I'm sleepy today. Sorry, I'm yawning in your guys' ears. It's been a pretty rough couple days because I've been feeling sort of low energy because of, as women, we have menstrual cycles, and our menstrual cycle drains the holy bejesus out of us sometimes, especially me, because I have low iron and stuff. So I gotta go get my iron checked again. See how I'm doing. Okay, so I don't see that anybody has questions. Maybe people have answers. So I have a question for you guys. How has anybody on here actually practiced the work? Now I know Will said he's been practicing with his faculty or telling them about being impeccable with your work. What is it that you guys are doing to support you into living or reinventing your life or living your divine purpose? What steps have you taken? Have you taken any? Give me like a yes, a no, or a thumbs up or a thumbs down, to let me know like, yes, I have, a thumbs up is good, or some love, some heart, something that can help me gauge where you guys are in the journey and if you're in the practice of it, or not, because either's okay, right? All right, so we have a heart. Of course, Doreen is like, yay, thank you for the engagement. I appreciate that. Because it's, I don't want you guys to be crickets. Now you can be crickets, and that's fine. You don't have to engage. But it does help, and it's meaningful for the rest of us that are watching or listening to have the engagement of other people, because not everybody's life is the same, right? People aren't living my life, and I'm not living your life, and I don't know exactly what is going on. Like right now, me and my yawning. Oh my God, I don't think I've ever yawned so much on Spirit and Coffee. It's funny. I even have my coffee with me. Maybe I haven't had enough. No. Ah, so good. Okay. Since no one's talking, I wanted to sort of talk about maybe what's possible with Spirit and Coffee. Um, I've had a lot of people, and perhaps you guys can chime in on this, tell me that I should open up a little cafe and sell coffee and have a podcast set up, and stream live from the coffee space and have viewers come in and say hello and that kind of thing. Um, but I would want to know, because I mean, I don't know that this market is saturated with coffee shops. I know we have a ton of coffee shops, especially here in New Mexico. We have a lot of little coffee places. So I don't know how well that would do in terms of people coming in and how much traffic, and if it would be worth, right, the time and money equity, right, that goes into it, the time that goes into it, and being able to make sure that I'm okay. But you guys maybe can give a suggestion. Maybe what I can do is a little poll, on the Facebook Live or Instagram, and ask you guys what you guys think about that. I would love to meet my viewers. I would love to be able to communicate with you guys, one on one and face to face, and get to know you. Another thing I would say is, if you ever see me out and about, tell me hello. I know that there's some people here, like some guy was watching me and he's like, yeah, I think I saw you somewhere. And I was like, yeah, I was there. Why didn't you say hi? And I think people maybe get a little like, oh, I want to give this person their space, but you know, the reality is that it's amazing to me that you all show up for yourself, that you continue to want to grow, that you continue to want to learn, that you're seeking things. Okay, lots going on, but still pushing forward with my education, fitness, healthcare, career, and personal goals. Thank you for sharing, Doreen. And I will say this, like Doreen, which is really awesome, and I've seen the growth, right, which makes me happy, is that she talked about doing something and now she's putting it into practice. And that's what I say, just start somewhere. Doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you start. And sometimes when we start, right, there's these we make errors, we fail forward, we sometimes fail, sometimes it's, we have to adjust or we have to shift, and that is okay. You don't have, like, sometimes we have a plan and we'll say what our plan is and it doesn't come out that way, and that's okay. That's why I believe people say work in silence, not working in silence as, oh, I don't want to tell anybody because I'm just going to show them. And that's part of it. Like, we want to show the result of something. But two, sometimes things get adjusted and you can get negative feedback when know that your plan wasn't really working out. So you had to pivot somewhere else. And explaining that can sort of tangle up your time. So it's okay, just get started. That's what I did with these podcasts. I just got started. Facebook Lives, I just started doing it. I just did it. Have I gotten any better at it? I don't know. I know that I've expanded it. I know that that's the case. And I know that the platform in which I use is the same and consistent. Can it be better? Absolutely. Can it improve? Always. So, you can ask yourself those things as you're creating your life, right? So, again, with Doreen, I've seen her say, well, I want to do this health stuff. We talked about it quite some time. We talked about cooking shows because I'd like to do cooking. I have a couple of videos where I did cooking, and it's not consistent, the cooking part, because this is my consistency, is the spirit, is getting people to understand that when you lead from spirit, your life becomes easier. And so spirit and coffee is my passion. I'll do that all the time. Now, sometimes I incorporate nutrition, the nutrition part of it, because supporting our body health is important. So we did talk about that. And then now Doreen has her little Facebook group where she does like videos of food and workouts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm even trying to do workout videos too, because I really care about health as much as she does, right? So that's the thing. That's what this platform is designed for. Help you get to a place where you are brave enough to actually start and put in motion the things that you want to do. Most people don't even start. Or they'll pay millions of dollars to go to these seminars that all they do is get the information and do nothing with it. You can pay millions of dollars for information for what? To do nothing? To just sit on it? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm pretty sure that's not why you're going to the seminars you go to. I'm pretty sure that's not what the goal was. Good morning, whoever shows up on Facebook. Say good morning, please. It really sucks that I can't see who's on here. I don't like it. Facebook, I'm going to write you a letter. Okay. So, yeah, we we get to grow just a little bit every day. And I think that that's a light-hearted message for Friday, right? Is allowing ourselves to grow just a little bit and being brave enough to take the baby steps that are needed to push us in the direction we need to go. It doesn't need to happen all at once. I can tell you right now, if we looked at it from like quote unquote a conspiracy theory perspective, we would say that they have planned out the future of what they expect to happen, that they understand patience is the key. And so where we are today isn't by accident. There's a hidden agenda, right? That's going on in the background. They predict, right? People are like, oh, The Simpsons predicted. And was it prediction, or did they know that they were setting the stage for people to accept it as a truth? There's a difference, right? Because we can play out things that we want to happen and we can foresee or foretell what we want to happen. Does that make us prophets? What it makes us is it, sort of prophets, but more storytellers, storytellers that can project a story into the future. So we become these storytellers of projection into the future where we say, this is what I want to happen. And then all of a sudden it's happening. So is it intentional? These were intentional. I told everybody Spirit and Coffee is going to grow. How? Not sure, but I know that I'm growing and expanding it in some way. Now, how did the expansion happen? What would they say? Oh, she's a prophet? No, it was intentional. I intentionally said, okay, what do I need to do to expand? Let me get on podcast. Let me do a podcast. Okay, how do I do that? Let me get on Spotify. Let me get on iTunes. Let me see how that works. Let me start to develop the curriculum. Let me start to these little tiny things, little baby steps that are happening in the background every single day. Why? So that I can create my birthright, because this is the information I get to leave behind. So that if something happens, it's available to anybody, right? Something happens to me, I disappear. Guess what? I don't disappear. Guess what? I have videos. You guys can see me over and over. That's funny. So there you have it. It's leaving the legacy in some fashion. It's really about me saying, here's the wisdom I get to leave, right? What is your legacy? What are you going to leave behind? And how will people have access to that information? Get very clear about that. And then you have the uh, opportunity to create in your life. Good morning, Adan. I could see Adan's on here. Yay. I have to keep I'm going to have to remind everybody. Is that Peter? Good morning, Peter. I think that was you. Um, good morning, those on Podbean. I don't know who else is on here still. So we do have the ability to foretell or foresee what we want to create within the future of our life. And we can take baby steps to get there. It doesn't have to be all at once. And we can change our mind. Guess what? We can change. It doesn't have to stay the same. I would say follow through on projects. That's a big question that I had for me. Sometimes I would do something and then pivot everywhere. And it's like, okay, stick to one thing. And I couldn't figure out what the one thing is. But once I figured out what the one thing is, I did it consistently and always over and over and over and over and over again. And when we stay consistent, things start to shift, right? Because we become, quote unquote, a master at something. Like, for instance, live videos, I've been doing them forever. And I may not be a master at the camera angles and putting it in the right way or whatever, but I can tell you that I'm a master at making it easy. I get on here and it's easy for me to be live. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to put some big curriculum together or big, what am I going to talk about? No, I just get on here and talk. So it's become easy for me to just get on here and communicate and talk. And so that took time. I mean, I was okay with talking before, but now okay with engaging, right? And communicating and being here with you. The quality of the connection between individuals over Facebook Live is like, I'm here for you, and I can do that seamlessly and easy now. And why? Because I practiced, right? You're going to always hear me say practice. Good morning, whoever just got on here. Good morning, QWJ96C. QWJ. What does all that mean, by the way? I want to have a podcast where I have random profile names show up so I can ask people what is it that their profile name means. Okay. Sorry. So I hope you guys have your coffee with you. I am excited. I think I might do a little poll on my Facebook Live or Instagram and say, should I have a coffee shop? I mean, is that something? I don't know why the universe keeps throwing that at me. I'm like, should I listen to the signs of this? Which I wouldn't mind running a little uh, coffee shop space where people and having a little podcast booth where I do my live videos and come in the morning, and people then after I do my live videos, I can have provide coffee and merchandise. Who knows? Who knows? It could be a coffee cafe, cyber cafe type deal. And other people can stream live on their podcast and maybe pay a membership to do that. We shall see. Only God knows because I let God lead my life. Remember, I told you I wake up and go, all right, God, what are we doing today? So I live that way. Okay. Awesome. So I want you guys, if you could, maybe it's going to take some time. Please send me some questions. Send it to spiritandbrew@gmail.com. Spiritandbrew@gmail.com. Send me your questions. I would love to start at least kind of engaging a little bit more with you guys, and maybe we can make one day a week specific to those questions where I bring them and then we discuss and go through the questions that were asked and in support of you guys and what you're up to. Like the questions can be, how do I move forward with my life? I'm stuck at this point, or I'm having some issues with this person. How do I move on? Whatever it is, whatever's stopping you from actually doing the things that you love that's blocking your energy, that could be it. Or it could be anything, right? Anything under the sun. Like you can even ask questions about me if you'd like. If they're appropriate, I will respond. Sometimes I get inappropriate. Yes, that's a judgment, but stuff that I'm like, okay, I'm probably not going to answer that one. Um, but I will support you guys as much as I possibly can. Okay, so spiritandbrew@gmail.com. Send me in your questions, and I will support you through a process of at least giving you some insight as to how you can be supported to move your life forward. Okay, good. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, and I am going to go for today. So it is Friday. Yay for those of you who get your weekends off. I personally work all the time. So I don't get the weekend off. I work Saturday. I am off on Sunday. Um, and so I work. Okay. So I love you guys. Have a fantastical, funky, fun, freaky, fabulous, phenomenal, uh, fluffy, funky Friday. And I will be seeing you guys on Monday. So who knows? Maybe I'll get a wild hair to just actually come on here on the weekend. But I might do some workout exercise on, you know, videos because I'm trying to do those videos. Okay. So I love you guys. Have a fantastic day. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Bye bye.